So now it's time to paint. And the supplies you need are your black and white copy, your color scheme, your paint, small cup of water, and a few small brushes. There's small rounds, and I also have a small square. Make sure all of your painting, water, paintbrushes, and paint are all on the same side. Then you should have your painting, then your black and white copy, so you can use that as a key. Now, when you start, you're going to have to do a few coats of each of your values. 1, 2, 3, and so forth. But you're gonna have to do a few coats to have coverage. You can always erase the numbers before you start, but this is acrylic paint, so it should be opaque enough that you won't have to do that. The first coat, though, might be a little transparent. You're gonna add a little water to your brush, a little paint, and I like to spread it around on my lid. Now, you should not have paint on the metal, only on the bristles. That's important. You don't need a lot of paint, just a little. Not a lot, just a dot. I'm gonna choke up on my paintbrush just like I would be using a pencil. What I'm going to do is, I find it easier to paint the edges first, staying in the lines. And you want to make sure you're painting in one direction. If you need to rotate your canvas, you can do that. And this is my number 1 value, my lightest value. Do a little water, a little paint in the cup, make it smooth on my brush. Again, I'm just using the point of my paintbrush. I'm going around to stay in the lines first. If I need more paint, just get some from the lid. And again, this is gonna be transparent. What's that mean? Well, it might be a little see-through. Because you're adding a little water, you're just trying to think of it as a primer on the wall. It's the first coat. And you want to paint all of your number 1s first. Do a first coat, a second coat, possibly even a third before you move on. It's really staying in the lines. Rotating that canvas to get a better angle. If you see globs of paint, smooth them out. So now I could switch to a larger brush due to the fact that I'm going to be painting in a larger area. So water, paint. Again, it's just on the bristles, it's not on the metal. I'm going to smooth it on the lid. And now, I can paint the larger areas quicker. And now this is the first coat. So your paint might be a little tiny bit uneven. But again, I'm staying in the lines, trying to get just enough coverage. Then what I would do is I would wait for this to dry and do a second coat. So I'm gonna go to my next number 1 area. So I'm gonna switch my brush to a smaller brush, get a little paint, a little water, and then I have my next number 1 section I have to fill in. Going around the edges first, getting more paint. This was a smaller area, so I did not have to switch brushes. And I'm gonna be checking here to go, okay, I just painted that, painted it. It's the next area. I see up right here's a number 1. And it helps because I labeled. I numbered everything, so now it's just a paint by number. But I have my black and white copy over here to help me as a key. Again, I'm just using the point. I don't have gobs of paint. So I might have to get this little guy as a 1 right in here too. Again, this is just a first coat. This guy right here. Just a first coat. So it's going to be transparent. Once I'm done with all of the number 1s, all through there, some of my nose, this, you know, down here, I can start back to do a number 2 coat. This coat, I'm not going to use water. I want to make sure this is dry over here, and it's pretty dry. So no water. I still don't want a glob of paint, so I'm going to put some on, roll it around the lid. And now you can see that this second coat is giving me enough better coverage, and I'm actually covering up those number 1s. That's the goal. You might take 2 or 3 coats to get that covered if you did not erase them first. Move up to the upper one. If you don't gob on the paint, it doesn't take a long time for it to dry. And you can see that number is going away. Smaller areas, switch to a smaller brush.